United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no proclamations this evening. Without objection, I'll entertain a motion to place item 6, communications, item 7, reports of officers, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of June 10, 2015, and item 7, reports of officers on file. Motion by Alderman Ryan, second by Alderman Bolton. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll? Next on the agenda is reports of standing committee. Alderman Martin.
Committee of the whole meeting report for June 22nd, 2015.
Motion by Alderman Martin, second by Alderman Gray. Shifts orders.
Resolution that finance committee bills be allowed and payment be made, and I move to accept.
Motion by Alderman Martin, second by Alderman Ryan.
I move for separation of the vote under the police department budget line item. Legal expenses, no lawyers, I just load the items, blah, blah, blah. $39,302.46.
Motion by Alderman Martin. Everything but the separation.
They don't have a mic.
This is paid for. All the other bills except the separation.
7 ayes, 2 nays, 1 abstention.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on
Ryan? Gray? Fleming? 5 ayes, 2 nays, 1 abstention.
Resolution of officials and agents of the city of Alton authorized to pursue appropriate legal action against such properties in circuit court as 103 Easton, 307 Brookside, and 3200 Oakwood.
motion by Alderman Martin, second by Alderman please call the roll.
Ryan? McAfee? Martin? Gray?
Bid for the resolution bill number 2015-09, Alton Marina, mechanical maintenance, dredging for the building and zoning department. Best bid of RiverBender.com, Inc., in the amount of $275 per hour, not to exceed $250,000.
Motion by Alderman Martin, second by Alderman Gray. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ryan? McAfee? Roloff? Martin? Gray? Fleming? 7 ayes, 2 nays, 1 abstention.
Next on the agenda is item 9, first reading of ordinances. Alderman Ryan.
Mr. Mayor, before we do that, we have quite a few speakers tonight, and 2 people are here just to speak on the situation at the post office. And I make a motion that they be granted 5 minutes.
Motion by Alderman Ryan, second by Alderman Martin.
They are Marlo, Larson,
Is it possible to get the speakers turned up so we can hear a little better?
Yeah, we'll try now.
Thanks.
That's as loud as it goes. Can they hear everything in the hallway now?
They're not working out here.
Not working out in the
Not
hall.
at all.
Sorry, that's, for whatever reason, we have a technical glitch. We'll try to speak up louder if we can. I apologize for
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marla Larson Williams. I'm from the United States Postal Service, and I'm here to inform the community of the plans of the Postal Service. As you may have already read, we've lost our lease where we currently are on Main Street, or on Bell Street, what we call our main post office. So we're going to have to find a new home. So I'm here to assure the community, number one, we're going to relocate the main post office. We're going to stay within the city limits. I don't know where we're going to end up yet. We're still looking. So it's in the early stages. But again, we're looking at relocating within the city limits, and I appreciate the mayor's office has been very helpful. We are required to come into a public forum and let people know what we're doing, and that's the reason I'm here this evening. And I want everybody to know, this is not necessarily a choice by the Postal Service. We've lost our lease. We have to relocate, so it's just one of those things. But what I want to stress to you is that we're going to put some information, and we're going to put in the back room. I think there's a wooden bench back there if people want to grab it. I'll also make sure there's more of these printed and available at the main post office if you would like. But what that is explains our process. And our process is that anyone that wants to write to the Postal Service and let us know your comments or your suggestions concerning the post office, my name and address is listed on this flyer, and of course it requires you to write a letter and put a stamp on it. So, no email address here, people. Anyway, I appreciate that. But the goal is to find a new home. As soon as we have an idea of where we're going, I'll communicate it with the mayor and send some information out, issue some press releases, get the space ready to meet our needs. We're going to be looking for 15,000 square feet, between 12 and 15,000, and parking for 110 to 120 parking spaces. So it's a big area. But we need to find a new home, renovate the building, and move and be open for business before the end of May of next year. It's a fast track project. So you may be seeing me a lot around town. I'm just looking for buildings, okay? So that's a real quick statement, because I know you have a lot on your agenda. I will leave some of these for the council as well before I leave. And if you have any questions for me, Mayor, or anyone here, I'll be happy to.
Anything we discussed, anything we can do in helping you. I appreciate your efforts and entertaining your presence. It's really appreciated.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. You have a good evening. Okay. So you want me to wait here?
Yeah,
or?
just
Okay. That's that.
Good, please come up.
Hi, good evening. So I own the warehouse right next to the post office. It's literally 3 feet away. So I was kind of disturbed to read this in the paper that this was going on. I didn't have any idea about it. And a large part of the reason we purchased that building was because we ship almost exclusively through the post office and others to them as well. And so basically, we were pretty disappointed and good that you guys might be moving. I had some concerns. I tried to look into it a lot. I was also concerned because, the environmental issue and with us being so close. So I've only had a few days and I wasn't able to get hold of the specific contact at Hammer that I spoke to, but my understanding was that the lease is up and that you guys, they want you guys to purchase it, and you guys don't want to purchase it, continue leasing. It's been leasing for 50 years. It seems like it might be time to buy, but I understand that there may be more that I'm aware of, and also it costs a lot of money to move around. So that was just my concern, is that if there's any way that you guys can stay there. We employ about a dozen people now, and we're looking to double and triple in the coming few years, and just it makes a lot of sense for us to be there, and it makes a lot of sense when you guys aren't there. And my other concern is if you do move, I also I've heard talk about Home Parkway, which mean, I can understand that, but, you know, the Alton downtown area has built up a lot, and even in the last 6 months to a year, a lot of them are I'm just really hoping you guys will do everything you can. If you absolutely do have to move, you stay as close as possible, and not go on the edge of, you know, Alton, Godfrey, or the other state in downtown for a lot of businesses. Not just let's rely on you. I know, you know, we were able to storefront business across the street, James Design. You know, we were relying on that traffic. And, I mean, that's, you know, not necessarily your concern, but just bring up those points. And if you guys do everything you can, if it's possible to actually buy the building instead of continuing to do some, you know, some fees, you know, Cameron, so I've spoken with them and they don't seem close to that option either. So that's all. I just wanted to bring that stuff up and hopes that you guys can say if you can that you stay as close as possible. Okay.
We have the first reading of ordinance 74.
Establish a stop sign on Market Street at the intersection of Nice. Ordinance number
7468. Our first ordinance is the budget. And we have a number of people that want to speak on different issues relating to the budget.
We can't hear.
Turn off and close the door.
Excuse me guys, sorry. You guys keep bumping the camera, just be careful.
If you would like, folks, in the front to come on these sides of the wall, more people into the chambers.
Go there. Hey, you made it. I'm just not sure where I'm supposed to be. Oh yeah, that would be bad.
You guys come closer in the front and invite us.
Then I'll sit when you go.
I say hopefully.
There's been more room for each side, folks, and move some people up front side for chambers, so if you'd like to come in, feel free, okay? Just try to keep a single aisle out.
I figure that camera will go right over my head.
Thank you once again.
We're good. We have Brett Staywater.
Thank you guys, and I'm talking tonight on behalf of the Alton Regional Convention Visitors Bureau. All of you know, the rest of you in the room, we're the destination marketing organization that brings tourists into town from throughout the Midwest and throughout the world. We operate the Alton Visitor Center and then work specifically in supporting downtown initiatives, and we're here tonight to talk about the issue with Alton Main Street and the funding concerns that are going on with the budget. But we believe we have a very similar interest. We can support and enhance the capacity for the mission of Alton Main Street. A few weeks ago, Mayor Walker called the CBB Main Street and the urban Growth Association together to work on ways to coordinate stronger collaboration and support in ways to strengthen and preserve Alton downtown, especially during these trying fiscal times. And with the CVB's passion for downtown, we will support efforts to revitalize downtown in direct collaboration with Alton Main Street. I believe RiverBender Growth Association also has a role in that effort of our entire region and is a vital part of the solution as we work through these collaborative times, the partnership. What the CVB has done specifically to help the city with some of the budget concerns and to help with downtown revitalization and preserve Main Street is to offer office space, utilities, supplies, and even some program expenses and promotions to ensure the viability of its wonderful programs like the Farmers Market, Taste of Downtown, and even the Tree Lighting Ceremony at Lincoln Douglas Square. The CVB does have a strong organizational capacity. We always work hand in hand with the city to ensure that that will continue. We're here for downtown Alton and its merchants, most of all and always. And with enhanced collaboration between these three organizations, downtown Alton will continue its evolution. We need this collaboration to continue and everyone in the three parties to work hard toward that goal. But the CVB will never let downtown Alton fall. It's our home, and it's a welcome mat for visitors. Happy to take any questions or comments. Well, that's going to follow up with first item of the Growth Association.
So again, we try to work together to make sure everybody, every entity in the city stays whole and keep doing all the wonderful work they're doing. So that and our group for checking in to make sure we can maintain Main Street.
Any questions?
Any questions? Monica Briscoe?
Good evening, and thank you. I'm president of the RiverBender Association. And the Growth Association and our board understands the need to reduce the funding you provide to us and other organizations. Many businesses, organizations, and now government entities must cut their spending in order to have a balanced budget. When revenue is reduced, an organization, business, municipality must make difficult decisions and be more efficient in the work they do and the efforts they produce, sometimes only providing vital services and no frills. The RVGA will continue to work with, never against the City of Alton or any of our member municipalities. As the largest business organization in the Riverbend, we cover 80 square miles in 10 communities and have more than 500 members. We will tighten our belt and continue to assist in the economic development and growth of all of our communities and of our member and potential member businesses. While we have worked with hundreds of businesses to help them locate to our communities or grow in their space, we do not take credit for any of them, as many local leaders, legislators, organizations, and individuals contribute to the success of a relocation or expansion of a business. We will continue to partner with Alton organizations, the CVB, Upper Alton Association, North Alton Godfrey Business Council, East End, Main Street, and now Pride Incorporated to help Alton area business with networking and growth. I hope that Alton's revenues will someday soon exceed all necessary and vital expenses, and again, trust that our funding will be restored to 100% when that happens. Thank you. Questions? Thank you.
I think we'll find as we go through this budget process this evening that the folks from Main Street that were concerned, I think we've addressed everything in Main Street is going to come out completely unscathed. They'll be able to survive. They'll have the partnership with Main Street. Will survive. So that was our goal in the beginning, and we'll touch on it again. I'll probably mention this again. This has been the hardest thing we face. As a mayor, I think the three primary functions as a city should function are public safety, police, fire, and also infrastructure. We were talking about some cuts in services to our citizens, so as we start to do expenditures outside of public safety and infrastructure, it becomes very difficult when we start to send people home from full-time jobs to justify some of the things we do. Unfortunately, The city is faced this year with a problem that has been 30 years in the making. We have a pension liability that's been underfunded for a long time, and unfortunately, the 30-year of not paying that pension has come back to really hit us in the rear end in a very, very hard way. It's not indicative of the health of the city, and I forgot the young man's name that spoke about the bookstore. The city, private sector is doing well. Public sector, we're struggling a little bit from some of the past that's caught up with us right now. So I believe we'll hear what we've done on Main Street will be fine. I think we've worked all together to make sure with what Brett has done, what Mike has done, and what the city's willing to give some cash for Main Street, we're going to be just fine. So if you still would like to speak, that would be terrific to take it. If not, Main Street's in good shape. We work it out.
My name is Laura Asher, and as a representative of Alton Main Street, I would appreciate having the opportunity to speak for Alton Main Street tonight. Not sure where I am on your list, but all right, glad to be here then, Mayor Walker. Again, thanks to the City Council for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Laura Asher. I'm an Alton resident. I'm an avid gardener, and I'm one of 14 volunteer members of the Alton Main Street Board of Directors, many of whom are here tonight. The mission of Alton Main Street is to preserve the rich heritage of our River City through the continued revitalization of our historic downtown. We strive to cultivate a dynamic and attractive social and economic center in the heart of our community. Building a vibrant community is a lot like starting a garden. It begins with planting seeds. As co-chair of the design committee, I take this analogy literally. Every month, our volunteers tend green spaces downtown. We pick up litter, plant flowers, and pull weeds. We do this because we love our city. We want it to be beautiful for us and for our guests who dine and shop in the century-old buildings. Another recently completed design project was the mural adorning the crumbling wall at Piasa and 9th Street. This site was once the location of the Alton Farmers Market, a function coordinated by Alton Main Street. Our farmers market is one of our city's greatest success stories. What began with a few craft vendors in an alley by Cat Daddy's has grown exponentially over the years. We now have dozens of growers, bakers, and artists from around the region bringing their delicious produce, great food, and creative wares into downtown every week. And with them come many thousands of people who converse, shop, and play throughout the season. It has become a happy cultural melting pot that is ready to spill over into the streets of Alton. And so it is in the other veins of our organization. From working with entrepreneurs to partnering with community groups, Alton Main Street provides the expertise that helps bring great ideas to fruition. And by continuing to support existing businesses, we are nurturing the budding arts district in Alton. In this period of economic trouble, it's important that we do not prune the very branches that bring life to the city. In fact, Alton Main Street initiatives are part of the solution to these problems. We are an economic engine with a proven track record of success, and we are tireless in our goal to bring our city into full bloom, proud in our place on the banks of the Mississippi River. One of the requirements of the Main Street Charter is both private and public support for the organization. Upon learning that the Main Street program was to be cut from the city's budget, the outpouring of support from our community has been overwhelming. To start, the Alton Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau has generously offered to share their resources with us, and we're grateful for that. We'd also like to thank especially Alderman Ryan for his political support. Moreover, in 1 week, we have garnered more than 1,200 signatures from people asking you to retain Alton Main Street within the city budget. I'm honored to present that petition to you tonight. Our citizens believe Alton Main Street is well worth the return on our investment, and I hope you agree with them. On behalf of the Main Street community, I want to thank you for considering our request to continue partially funding our program by maintaining Alton Main Street as a line item in the city's budget.
Good evening. I'm Betsy Clayton. I'm here as a resident. I volunteer in animal welfare organizations. I am for responsible pet ownership, and I'm here about the dissolution of the animal control department. We can talk about beautification all we want, bringing business and crime and send Alton. But I've worked in communities where they've done away with the city animal control, and they're not safe. There's packs of feral animals living on the street that nobody wants anything to do with. In the parks, in their yards, tearing out dumpsters behind restaurants, and they're multiplying. This problem is an issue that we desperately need to keep control of. And getting rid of animal control will jeopardize our public safety. I've heard that police officers have been told that if a dog shows any aggression, they're to shoot. Madison County will not respond to anything but bite cases. So nuisance animals, raccoons carrying distemper, rabies, anything like that, we will have no help of here. I want to know what is going to happen to keep my kids safe from playing in the park. I want to know what is going to happen if police officers are going to carry scanners for microchips. Are you going to pay a police officer to drive dogs and cats to Edwardsville to animal control? I want to know what the plan is, what type of training you're going to put in. Because if my dog is cornered, he's going to cry. Does that mean he's going to be shot?
I'm not aware of any order from the police department to shoot dogs, so that's purely speculation.
We were told this by an alderman. We were told this by an alderman. Our several citizens that have called and spoken with their aldermans today. If the dog shows any aggression, they're going to be shot.
I can tell you that I'm not aware of the police department talking to you all the time. But I can tell you is we are not funding animal control. This will not go into effect until August 1st. I'm going to work closely with Bob Barnhart, the Public Works Director, to come up with a solution so that citizens will notice, hopefully not as much reduction in services. Like our facilities are still going to be there for like Snake Alliance and a lot of things we do. We will partner and figure out what we can do to try to maintain a certain level of service and animal control.
Because of the city, with 37,865 residents, and you have a poverty level of 24.6, and just because the poor doesn't mean that they aren't good, loving pet owners.
No, I agree. We just had debate. Look, all the decisions, I didn't run for mayor to dodge a tough issue. The issue we're facing right now, like I said earlier, is a problem that's built up over decades. It's coming back to hit the city. This budget has made me lose sleep. These cuts will be across the board. And what we try to do is manage these cuts so that we can still maintain a good level of service, particularly when it comes to public safety and infrastructure. Those are the keys, in my opinion, to the city. Are all these decisions going to be popular? They're not. Are they hard decisions? Yes, they are. So I agree with you. I'll be working with Bob Barnhart to figure out how we can maintain some level of.
I grew up in the city of Godfrey, I will admit, but I attended Alton Public Schools. My parents were retired.
Does somebody have a radio or music on?
Yeah, they're streaming.
They listen to you because there's no speakers outside to hear you.
They're listening to it through the radio.
They can't hear you outside the door.
But I grew up without animal control, and I do know neighbors letting their dogs roam, children getting hit, and dogs getting shot because they roam onto somebody else's property and nobody wanted to do anything about it.
And I agree, animal control is a wonderful service. It serves our city well.
And he works very hard to get dogs reunited and to educate on top of pet
I
ownership.
agree. We are going to work closely to make sure we maintain some sort of level of animal control in our city.
Public safety.
And that's it. We'll be working to try and get an RFP out. And it comes down to decisions. How many of one department need way up over another department? These aren't easy decisions.
Well, he's been one man doing the job of 30 for several years.
These are fantastic.
He is
Also
fantastic.
wonderful.
And it's very crucial to have an animal control officer on your side when you're working in rescue, speaking for the voices.
for being a med. I guess I don't know if it's on here. Christine Padilla, and I work in the city of Alton. And thank you for your time. After working in the downtown area with Alton Main Street for well over a decade, I can tell you how vital they are for the city and its residents and businesses, offering several resources the city does not have to come up with. Main Street supports all downtown businesses when the property owners wish to share their proposed projects. They're all about transparency. They do not just throw parties. They show potential clients available properties. They set up recycling services for downtown businesses. They help businesses apply for facade and other operation and maintenance grants. And so we find it very interesting that a new organization shows up with the near identical missions and projects of Main Street with chamber support. That's very different than Main Street. And it would result in duplication of efforts and waste of city funds, but just waste of funds and resources. Next came the announcement of Main Street's $18,000 cut. It's their mission to keep Alton on the map. We know that the Alton CVB has offered to graciously take on some of the tasks due to their $367,000 budget not being touched. And I'm sure the two organizations will work together well, and I really do wish them all the best. But I hope the transparency and the ability to help small town businesses, downtown businesses, in the many ways that currently are being helped continue. So I just ask that you please support at least $7,000 to keep Alton Main Street until the state finance flows are a little bit not so rocky. Then reinstate the full funding next fiscal year.
Jimmy Biley.
Wow, full house. This is great.
You are?
My name is David Biley. Yeah, I got some notes here. I'm a resident of Midtown. I'm here to raise a voice of concern for Alton Main Street. More specifically, for Sarah McGibney, Executive Director. I enjoy the events Sarah McGibney and Alton Main Street provide. Sarah McGibney makes Alton a better place. I enjoy the colorful murals as they pleasure the eyes of visitors and residents alike. I enjoy the farmers market. If not for Sarah's persistent efforts, I doubt we'd have a farmers market. I enjoy the lighting ceremony at the Lincoln Douglas Square. I've enjoyed the beautification efforts, sprucing up the flower beds downtown. I've enjoyed the decorative efforts in that thing called Yarn Bomb. I've enjoyed activities such as block parties, car shows, and the chili cook-off, all of which benefit local businesses downtown. I appreciate Sarah's networking efforts of What's Up Downtown. Sarah McGibney makes Alton a better place. Honestly, the brand of Alton Main Street didn't really register with me until Sarah McGibney. Sarah McGibney is a diamond in the rough of Alton economics. Alton gets a great bang for its buck from Sarah McGibney as Executive Director. A value beyond dollars. One last note. In the spirit of Alton Main Street, I voice my support now for the Piasa Body Art. Wake up, Alton. Tattoos are a thing, reflection of today's society. I participate in numerous functions, and there's people with tats in all walks of life. Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for giving me the floor. And so it's a family affair tonight. So I too am a lifelong resident of Alton. I'm also staff member of the Piasa Palisades Sierra Club as a Three Rivers project manager.
And Alton Main Street and the Sierra Club partner with a lot of the events and projects that go on throughout the community. And you know what, Alton, like many communities, is struggling with budget woes. And it's important to identify policies and programs that you get the most bang for your buck. You can tell we worked on this together. So I like that bang for the buck because it's important, because that's what you're looking for when you're going through all these budgets and trying to make these cuts. Non-profit organizations like Alton Main Street and Sierra Club, they serve as a great resource for the community by building grassroots networks, engaging diverse sector of the population, and forming armies of volunteers that relieve financial burdens for the city. They also, add to really the quality of life in the city by creating and implementing events that, it's kind of hard to pay somebody to do that. So for measly $18,000 a year, you've got these great organizations working together to bring things like the Mississippi Earth Tones Festival, the tree lighting, and all the other, events that we've already talked about. So I'll try and keep it brief. And then there's the farmers market that is so wonderful, and I think most of the people in this room have probably been there. But I often wonder why that great event that goes every Saturday, June through October, is relegated to an empty parking lot on the backside of a levee of a beautiful park. So that's just something to think about too. And also talking about beautification projects, I know the city's strapped. So those downtown landscapes that are so colorful with the pops of color and the decorations, the holiday decorations, those just wouldn't be there, without organizations working together in the community to add those accents. So I'm afraid, without organizations like Alton Main Street, which, as Laura mentioned, they need that input from the city, or else it looks like they would have to dissolve, just by what their charter or their bylaws say. I thought that was very interesting, and I wanted to repeat that if the city doesn't support it, I don't know that it can remain. So that's something we really need to think about. And sure, we're all worried about other people's jobs. It's a fact. But $18,000 for the benefits, it's really looking at the bang for the buck you're getting. The coalition building with these nonprofits is so important to make the kind of community that we all want to live in. And I feel like Alton's going in a great direction, but there's walls put up everywhere. If you notice that these council chambers have been filled up with engaged citizens that have a vision for this community. So, I would ask our representatives to follow our wishes. And thank you, and vote with your conscience. And if you've gotten calls from your constituents, consider that, please. And thanks very much for your time.
Good evening, City Council, Mr. Mayor. I happen to live in downtown, which I'm proud to say. I am sad because everybody's thinking it's you, and it's not you. It's the governor of our state. And that's our city to vital programs. And one of the constituents that is new to the council, but all of you know my friend Danny for over 20 years. Many of you know he's been disabled for a long time. And I'm here to talk about impact and what we're doing on Friday. We are doing a last minute advocacy push to the governor. And this is what we're asking. We are asking leaders and lawmakers to do their jobs. Stop blaming the other party. It is time for change. It is 2015. I am proud to say I'm 41. I can't fight the rest of my life for services. And I'm scared. For the first time
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, for letting me speak. I will try to keep it brief because it sounds like everybody's had a lot to say and maybe there's still more, but I just want to kind of follow up with everything everybody else said, concerns for jobs, concerns for the budget, concerns for animal control, concerns for the police department. You know, it sounds like there's going to be some serious cuts to some services that are desperately needed. And I love Alton Main Street and support it too. Trust me, and I understand your decisions are tough. But I have to ask you to reconsider some of those line items about police departments and about animal control. Because you have to realize the cost is going to come up some. If we give it up now, that's fine. That's fine, we'll see how it goes. But we will pay on the other end. Whether it's liability later or something else, it's going to cause other problems. So I mean, I don't want to take up a bunch of anybody's time, but I do need to ask you to reconsider some of those budget cuts.
That's a responsibility for residents.
Okay, second reading of ordinances. And we have the second reading of ordinance 7459.
Ordinance number 7459, an ordinance making an annual appropriation for the city of Alton, county of Madison, state of Illinois for the fiscal year beginning April 1st, 2015 and ending March 31st, 2016. Ordinance number 7459 for second reading.
I move for adoption with an amendment, or actually a bunch of amendments, and these are all the, both the cuts and the revenue changes that we agreed on, the council agreed on in your office, or most of us did. So I move for the adoption of the amendment.
You gotta get the original one. So we have a motion for the budget by Alderman Brand. We have a second to get the original budget forward.
I have a second, we're going to read those, we're going to.
It's quite lengthy.
It's lengthy. Yeah, and also in that amendment, real quickly, there is 7,000 for Main Street. So Main Street will remain.
Your amendment was $7,000 for all multi-place.
That's one of them.
It's one of them.
We vote on that separately. I just want to ensure that they get their $7,000 in the budget I can vote for. So I would like to separate that.
I'll move for the $7,000 to go to Alton. Second.
Motion by Alderman Ryan, second by Alderman Beloff. This is for Main Street, correct? And clerk will call the roll on the separation, I guess separation and approval of 7,000 for Main Street.
To approve the $7,000 amendment, adding $7,000 for Main Street.
Motion by, I think Alderman Fleming, second by Alderman Ryan.
Motion by me, second by Alderman Bowman.
Okay, second by Alderman Bowman. Clerk, will you please call the roll on the separation and approval of 7,000.
Ryan?
Aye.
McAfee? Beloff? Martin? Gray? Fleming? Wallace? 7 ayes for the
The rest of the amendments.
Before we do that, and before we go for the budget with the amendments, I want to take a moment to thank all of the department heads. We have been literally working on this tirelessly for months, and it has been more difficult than I can even explain. Would really like to point out Cindy Roth, the treasurer, our comptroller, Jeannie. I don't know how many times we said, can we refigure this, can we run that number, can we look at this number, and each and every time they've done it. Also, my chief of staff, Dan Herkert, I think for the last 9 weekends in a row has worked with us together. So again, thank all the department heads. I know all of you are going to suffer some losses, and it's very unfortunate, and I hope that we get through this and we can restore public safety cuts that we're looking at, and a lot of cuts that have just been incredible difficult task. I know some decisions are unpopular, but make no mistake, none of these decisions were easy. So, I want to thank everybody for all the time they put in on getting us to where we are right now. Accept the budget with the amendments.
I think we gotta do the other amendments here.
Motion by Alderman Ryan to approve all the other amendments. Madam Clerk, will you please call
I
the roll?
have a question on this first. I didn't get a chance to really review this. I just kind of went over it with Alton Ryan while I was on vacation. But when I got this flopped in front of me today in an email, first thing
I asked you if you'd spend some time when you were on vacation, and you basically wouldn't do
I
it.
didn't have to sell it. So, I'd like to ask about this animal control, because that was the first thing that flopped up. How is this going to be resolved?
I'm going to work with Bobby Barnhart and also Steve Olsall. We will put together an RFP with what services we have, what can we do with the current people we have to pick up some of the, like I say, pick up the dead animals on the street, things like that. We still have our facilities. I know that I had Mr. Olsall call Smith Alliance today, so we can still maintain those outside resources coming in. Then we have to determine what do we want animal control to look like and get an RFP out. And I'll be working with Bobby because this will not come into effect until August 1st. We will have something put together, which everyone will be informed of before we put it out to make sure we do maintain some of the service.
So we're going to put an RFP out for privatize basically the animal control.
Or supplement or some sort of assistance, yes.
Who would be taking care of, would Madison County be taking care of the services as well?
That may be part of some of the discussion we have. And that will be a collaborative effort that will come to fruition probably in the next couple of weeks.
So would the police department be picking up the slack for resident complaints or?
No, as of right now, the citizens continue to call the city the way they have, and then we'll put it together on how we will move forward after all this first. But right now, nothing's changed for us.
I have an amendment I would like to offer also to remove the $35,000 added to the legal expenses of the police department from $50,000 to $85,000. I'd like to remove it at $35,000. That's my motion. Amendment.
I'm sorry, where was that, Alderman Tony?
They added $35,000 to the police department legal expenses from $50,000 to $85,000.
Right to the other, just adjust line items. Can we just move line items to cover companies that have increased budget?
We just moved the line items around.
So police budget remains the same, we didn't. So Alderman Fund, we didn't add anything to the original budget, we just moved line items around to cover it. So nothing was added.
Okay, I'm not going to go through the budget anyway, so I'll withdraw my motion.
Aye. McAfee. Kellogg.
No.
Martin.
Aye.
Gray.
Aye.
Fleming.
No.
Folds. 5 ayes, 2 nays, 1 abstention.
I move for the adoption of ordinance 7459 as amended.
Motion by Alderman Ryan, second by Alderman Bowles. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Ryan.
Aye.
McAfee. Kellogg. Martin. Gray. Fleming.
No.
Folds. 6 ayes, 1 nay, 1 abstention.
Could we have the second reading of ordinance 7465, please?
Ordinance number 7465, an ordinance establishing an apartment zone on the east side of Court Street between 4th Street and George Street. Ordinance number 7465 is second reading.
For adoption.
Motion by Alderman Jerome, second by Alderman Mackey. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ryan. McAfee. Kellogg. Martin. Gray. Fleming. Folds. 7 ayes, 1 abstention.
Real quick before we go on, Ryan, if those of you that were here from Main Street, that portion is done. If you want to stay, you're more than welcome. If you wish to leave, Main Street is good. Thank you.
Ordinance number 7466, an ordinance asserting a prevailing rate of wages for laborers, workmen, and mechanics employed on public works for the city of Alton, Illinois. Ordinance number 7466.
Motion by Alderman Ryan, second by Alderman Miller, on the clerk, please call the roll.
Ryan. McAfee. Mello. Martin. Gray.
We have the second reading of ordinance 7467.
Ordinance number 7467, an ordinance establishing a right turn only for southbound traffic coming from McClure Street onto East Broadway. Ordinance number 7467.
Motion by Alderman Ryan, second by Alderman Miller, on the clerk, please call the roll.
Ryan. McAfee. Mello. Martin. Gray. Fleming. Olds. 7 ayes, no nays, no abstentions.
Next on the agenda is item 11, reports and or resolutions of special committees. Without objection, I'll entertain a motion to place items A, B, C, D, E, and F on file. Motion by Alderman Ryan, second by Alderman Rolls. May I have the clerk please call the roll?
Ryan. McAfee. Mello. Martin. Gray.
Next is item G, a resolution to allow special use permit for a tattoo parlor at 558 and 560 East Broadway, a property currently zoned Z4 downtown commercial district, and that the attached ordinance be considered. Please note, the plan commission recommends a negative vote.
Mr. Mayor, we have 11 people that wish to speak on this issue. They are Mike Mason, James Bauer, Lindy Georges, Chris Hinkle, Robert Steffen, Adriana Daniel, Mike Kelly, Bill Stoutenborough, Sarah Gordon, DJ Becker, and Steve Rich. And I make a motion that they all be given 5 minutes.
Motion by Alderman Ryan, second by Alderman Rolls. 5 minutes. Can we please have Robert Steffen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Robert Steffen. I'm here on behalf of John Simmons. John Simmons is the chairman of the board of the Simmons Handling Conway Law Firm. He is also the owner of Alton Steel. Mr. Simmons is still out of town visiting colleges with his son, so he wanted me to read this statement on his behalf. I'm sorry I cannot be here this evening, but I wanted to share some thoughts with you about whether or not the Grand Piasa Body Art Shop should be allowed to relocate to Broadway Henry. I am in favor of granting this request. As I understand it, this business has been in operation for years, and Alton needs proven businesses to fill storefronts. We need to work together to attract new businesses and residents, and in my opinion, we should be careful with the message we send to those who may want to open a business here. We do not have to like a business to support it. Not everyone is a fan of lawyers, for example. I'm grateful my law firm was welcome to the Middletown neighborhood. That same support and encouragement should be extended to others. As someone who employs 250 people just a few blocks away from where the tattoo shop would be located, I hope to welcome this business and many others to the neighborhood in the coming years. Thank you for your time and consideration. I appreciate the work the city council members do for the city of Alton. Sincerely, John Simmons. Thank you.
Lindy Georges or Borges? Georges.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Lindy Georges. I live at 400 Henry Street. I am the first family single resident as you go up Henry Street. I've spent a lot of time and money renovating my house, hoping to improve property values of the Middletown area, along with many of my neighbors. I'm all for the redevelopment of Broadway. It's a long time coming. I welcome this new business to the area, but I
Thank you.
feel Broadway and Henry is not the place for this business. Thank you, and thank you to those who voted against it.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, city officials. My name is Jim Bauer, and I live a couple blocks up from this address that we're talking about tonight. I've never met Mr. Hinkle. We're probably kindred spirits. I started out as an artist, a commercial artist. I'm an entrepreneur. Been in Alton for 20 years. I've got an MBA from WashU. So I'm saying that, I can say in the vernacular, so don't kid a kidder kind of a thing with this, that I support him wholeheartedly for bringing a business, or transferring his business, and we certainly welcome him. The problem is that we're changing a zoning law that will perpetuate that building, will be set up that way in perpetuity as long as the building is there. We can certainly, as a community, welcome him and accommodate him in a C2, and as I understand it, and folks here know better than I do, I believe that the C2 designation is just adjacent to this. So we've been through this before, and I was invited by neighbors to come in and speak in front of you folks before. We had a lawyer come in on Henry Street and wanted to change the zoning for kind of the same idea, that I have a business and this is the only business place that I can place my business. And he said that in this public format, and so I said to him, gee, there's 50 places that you could use here in town, and if your realtor is not helping you with it, I'll load you in the car after the meeting and take you around. I'm way off my notes here, so I know it's a busy night, and so that is my idea, that I would certainly favor Mr. Hinkle, but I cannot support this, and I'm not sure how it works out now legally. Can I ask a question, Mr. Mayor? Yeah. So we had last time, we had a split. Tonight, if it is split again, does it go away, or do you decide, or how does it work for the decision?
Motions are always made in the positive, and it takes a majority vote to pass any resolution.
It was deadlocked last time, am I correct?
I don't recall.
Well, the planning commission
is 5-5 this time. 5-4-5.
So the planning commission denied the request.
If it's a tie vote, it is deemed a denial.
And then we have this comprehensive plan in our city, and the zoning laws support that. So
I don't, you're asking a different question. I'm sorry, it took me a moment to catch. It will take 5 positive votes, including the mayor, to override the negative recommendation of the planning commission.
thank you, sir. Let me just cheat on my notes for a second before I lose your attention here. My nudge is to do the right thing. You know, I'm just trying to say, can we do that? And I would certainly support the gentleman in his business if we can help him find a location that satisfies his needs and also satisfies our master plan in the city. If we start this now, you know, it's we're opening up a can of worms. Thank you, everyone.
My name is Chris Hinkle, the owner of Piasa Body Art. I really just wanted to come up here and thank everyone for their time and efforts towards this. I just wanted to give a big thanks to Alton Main Street, Sarah McGivney. She was basically my pathfinder on this. Anytime that I hit a dead end or didn't know who to talk to, where to talk to them, she was a great resource for that. Other than that, I mean, everybody who's been following this knows what's going on. So once again, thank you for your time.
Monica Mason.
It doesn't look like Monica.
mother speaking on her behalf. She's out of town. We've all become very familiar with this debate regarding whether or not to allow Chris to open up his already established tattoo business and relocate to Broadway, occupying one of the historic buildings, which now is sitting empty. And you're all, of course, very familiar with the debate. We've witnessed Chris go before the planning commission twice now, both times being rejected for no tangible reason beyond the aesthetic and moral objections of the planning commissioners. We've already seen Chris stand before City Council this evening, marking the second and final chance he has to fill one of our vacant buildings with his already thriving business. And this is our final chance to boost our local economy by generating revenue from the building, now generating nothing but dust. And this is his final chance of attracting a younger demographic, now largely absent from the Broadway business corridor. This is Chris's last chance, but at the same time, it's our chance as well. If we should fail to allow Chris to set up his shop on Broadway, what message do we send all future entrepreneurs with the public rejection of one of our own local businesses? What will it say about Alton as a business community? Here's our chance to err on the side of support for Mr. Ingram. My research has shown the tattoo industry to be within the top 10 fastest growing retail ventures in America. For several years running, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. There's over 45 million Americans tattooed, several here tonight. It's the fastest growing demographic, getting inked women between the ages of 30 and 40 who are educated, professional, and self-identified as soccer moms. The tattoo industry has gone solidly mainstream, with advertising aimed at that rapidly growing audience between the ages of 20 and 40. In the days of drunken sailors and biker gang members hanging around a smoky tattoo parlor is really an outdated stereotype. So here's our chance to prove that we can make informed economic decisions based on factual research of modern trends in the retail industry. Research tells us that Chris Hinkle's business is part of a larger popular trend in the country. In recent years, we've embraced popular trends of artisan baked goods, welcoming Luciana, Mavis, and Spoon. We've gotten on board with the trend of craft beers, welcoming Old Bakery Brewery and Elijah Pease. We celebrated these local entrepreneurs for their success, and we appreciate the revitalization of our historic buildings, which has beautified our streetscape. We identify these entrepreneurs as our neighbors. And Chris is yet another neighbor knocking on our door. Let's answer the door and let him in. Here's our chance to consider what kind of public image we want to send to our neighboring communities who are watching this debate right now. Let's broadcast an image of an up-to-date, thriving community, a community that's in step with the modern world around us and able to recognize and embrace mainstream retail trends. Let's make sure we also are projecting an image of being able to listen to the next generation with ideas beyond our own. Let's not risk the chance of becoming a town which drove its young people away by rigid adherence to outdated prejudices. And finally, this is your chance as elected representatives of the people in this community to listen to the majority of the citizens who support Chris and his business. The last city council meeting which had a vote on this issue was a packed room just like tonight. And the highlight of the evening was the simple eloquence of Alderman Charlie Brake, who told us all that he listened to those who talked to him in favor of Hinkle's tattoo studio. He listened. This simple statement expressed all sincerity, provided us with a true definition of what it means to be a genuine representative of the citizens. Listen to the people. We appreciate you. This is great. And you, the people of Alton are talking right now, council members. Show us you listen. Thanks for letting me speak.
Very well said. Good job. That was amazing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the opportunity to speak here tonight. I'd like to point out that what has happened prior to tonight is not set in stone or decided here. And we are time crunch here. I'm going to try to read from my notes to keep me on track. All of you know me, if not personally, then at least you know who I am. And I hope you've come to know and respect that I'm a man of my word. And to the best of my ability, I'll be true to my word and follow through with things that I say I'm going to do. I didn't enter into this discussion initially because I thought it would be negative. I was reluctant to come across as negative, but I'm not. I'm very pro-Alton, and I'm very much in support of Alton. And that's what my argument is here tonight, is what I believe is the best of Alton, best for Alton. I didn't come here to specifically debate about tattoos or tattoo shops. In fact, I think that a lot of the discussion has been misguided. The focus of discussion needs to be more on the development of Alton. Both economic opportunity and economic development and community development must go hand in hand. Many local business, property and business owners have met repeatedly, discussed issues of economic development and the need for, for an updated master plan. The master plan helps current and potential future investors in the area know the area, the direction an area is taking, and base their decision making on those known factors. Zoning is an important part of that master plan and provides some certainty for those current and future investors. Spot zoning is arbitrary. It's a one-off impulse-driven actions and is not part of a deliberate and well-thought effort to make positive improvements for the city and the downtown area. Going along with this, some of the efforts I think a number of people have jumped into this debate. I think the efforts of Main Street, I've known Sarah for a long time. I appreciate a lot that she's done, but I think the Main Street efforts in this instance have been misguided and inappropriate in supporting one side of what has become a contentious debate rather than supporting all business and property owners in the area. Information has been put out just a while ago by the gentleman that we've got a vacant storefront the gentleman is moving into. That's not true. 2 of the 3 storefronts there are taken. There are people in the apartments above. It's not a vacant building. However, there are vacant buildings all over town, in C2 and all other districts around town that are available. So I'd like to point out that nothing that I say here or that you do tonight is declining the Hinkle's economic opportunity because the buildings are all over the place that are actually vacant. To maintain certain exclusions in a single business district in our community is not declining any one opportunity. In fact, it's promoting and preserving opportunity. It's protecting current investments and encouraging investments of others who know and want to know that they have a defined set of rules that govern their potential future investments. If the Hinkles are not successful here tonight, they or other tattoo shops can try again at a later time. For the city, however, if this is approved tonight, there's little turning back. Arguments have been made that tattoos are mainstream in society now. Sure, there have been increases, but it's not as mainstream as folks may lead you to believe. Military, for instance, has gotten more specific about defining who can and cannot, what tattoos are and are not allowed for people trying to join the military. One online source and recruiters that I talked to said they decline people every day, kids who come through their door that they're not able to talk to, not able to accept. Mainstream corporate America has a public image they want to uphold. Retail stores routinely have rental agreements that specify what types of shops can and cannot move in next to them. So it's not outlandish, it's not inappropriate to restrict and maintain rules about in a specific area about what types of businesses can go there. Another statistic, women are twice as, you mentioned soccer moms getting tattoos at an increasing rate. Well, data also says that women are twice as likely as men to have those tattoos removed. In an area that is economically challenged by census data, our unemployment rates here in Alton are 2% above the Illinois average and 2.5% above the US average. Youngsters here need everything they can get in their favor. Decisions made at a young age can narrow their path of opportunity dramatically, as I mentioned, in future employment. While I respect their freedom of choice after 18 years of age, I also believe we should help set them up for success by providing a good example. Putting a tattoo parlor at the corner of Main and Main at the entrance to our town does not send the right message to impressionable youth. Some say that this is up to the parents to set their values during their impressionable years for those kids. Yes, I absolutely agree that. I totally do. However, I know that all of you also know that not everyone has the benefit of having a single, a two-parent, or even a single-parent family with loving parents that are supporting them and helping them through as positive role models and setting kids up for success later in life. If you look around the community, many of those who are most in need of a chance in life, who need opportunity and encouragement to break out of a vicious cycle of poverty and a disadvantaged starting point in life, are often those prone to making poor decisions early in life. So we should not say it's enough to leave it up to the parents to guide these kids. We as a community play an important role in also setting the environment that helps to breed lifelong opportunity for all of our fellow citizens, especially our impressionable youth. In this, the longest recession in our history since the Great Depression, companies across the country have been sitting on vaults of cash. Why have they not invested it and used it to energize the economy? Why is the recovery taking so long? It's a lack of certainty. This is widely read and widely understood. Lack of certainty is to the global economy, but significantly due to lack of certainty is to global or government policies and the impacts that these policies will have on their respective businesses. These businesses are afraid the rules of the game will change up. And that's exactly what you can avoid doing here tonight. Would you please think again very hard about this? Respect the decisions and risks that investors and those with direct stakes in this have taken, and more importantly, show future investors that you will continue to respect their future investments and risks by not changing the rules midstream before they have an opportunity to realize the potential of their investments. The Planning Commission has twice recommended disapproval of this. I propose that we take this as an opportunity to advance efforts to establish an enhanced vision and master plan for this important section of Alton's downtown district. This is not to deny anyone opportunity. There are opportunities all over the place. But we should be establishing a common vision, especially for this area of Alton, which is prime to our businesses and which is the heart of the image that Alton sets out of what we want to be, the image we want to show ourselves to ourselves and to the outside world. We should do this as a deliberate, thoughtful process and decide collectively the best road to take. Please refrain from responding to an activist movement that, while well-intentioned and supportive of someone they like, is not in the best interest of the broader development and marketing of Alton. You've heard data and statistics and examples of other people and places. We've heard that X% of women or X% of the population have had tattoos. 90% of the prison population has tattoos.
Time's up.
I don't bring this up to say or imply anything bad about people's tattoos.
Oh, no.
Right? I have lots of friends.
Sit down.
This is not what it's about.
Brother that you went to the Navy with.
Quiet, please. I simply mention it to say that all the data and all the examples don't necessarily mean anything in this discussion. That's my whole point. It's not to draw an analogy. It's to mean that the data that we have heard does not necessarily apply to Alton. What matters to us is what is best for Alton here. Our direction
More
and history
business.
have not been written. Your vote tonight and your continued actions play a key role in our future. Your time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please bring more business to Alton. More business for Alton.
None of that, everybody has a right to their opinion. Absolutely. Let's keep the concessions, please, okay? Adriana, Danielle.
Alrighty.
story district. I have 2 children who graduated from Alton High and 1 in middle school. My intention tonight was to come and speak from the perspective of someone who moved to Alton. We moved here from Atlanta, Georgia. We didn't know anything about Alton, started looking in the St. Louis area, misunderstood what someone had said, and ended up crossing the river and finding Alton. We love it here. We loved it instantly. We loved the houses. We did a lot of research once we found the town and talked to a lot of people, and we really, really loved Alton. One of the things that drew us to Alton was that we saw a lot of potential. And one of the things that both of us, my husband and I, said looking at it was that it really kind of reminded us of Savannah, Georgia, back when Savannah was first starting to build up. And I don't know how familiar people are with Savannah, but it's one of my favorite places on earth. It's
Beautiful.
where I went a lot as a kid, and it has wonderful shops, wonderful little fun museums, sort of like the Alton History Museum. There's so many similarities to my mind. What it also has is tattoo shops. Right on Bay Street, Main Street, you've got a little tea shop, you've got a little Irish knick-knack store, you've got restaurants, you've got a kids restaurant with pirate games, and you've got 2 body art shops right on that main strip. That was what I was coming here to say, but I'm also going to expand on that now, because my professional background is in marketing. For the last decade, I've been a director for web marketing and social media. I worked in web marketing before that, so I watch a lot of trends. And I want to address the economic side of it from the standpoint of generations. We have baby boomers, we have Generation X, which would be my generation. We have Gen Y, which is people about 10 years younger than me on down. Generation Y is a very unique generation. They have more spending power at this point than baby boomers. They also have something that no other generation has had in the sense of their power of backwards influence. And I'm sort of pulling some of my marketing background out of the dust here, but essentially, you've got people who didn't grow up with the web. So they're going to their kids, and they're saying, find me a good place to go for vacation. Find me a good place to stay. Find me a shop that does that. And they are having an unprecedented amount of influence on where their parents spend money. In a way, my mom doesn't listen to me that much. So we want those kids happy. And I say kids, I mean, these are adults, these are 30-year-olds who are moving into our neighborhoods with their young kids. And I'm always thrilled to see them. So I think this is an important thing to consider. When it comes to tattoos, I don't have any. I've never been to prison, so I cannot talk about 90% of the I can talk about my friends who have tattoos. They are lawyers, they are business owners. In some cases, they are artists. I don't have a whole lot of people who own tattoo parlors, who hang out at clubs. That's not my crowd. I'm, a pretty everyday kind of person. And I would say a good 60 or 70% of people I know have tattoos. I know that for people in that Generation Y age range, it's not anything wild or out there. It is absolutely mainstream. When I am going to look for a house somewhere, which we did here, and when I see a tattoo shop, I don't think bad. I think trendy, up and coming, young people here, young professionals here. So I'm here to state my support. I don't know Mr. Hinkle. I could not have pointed him out until today, because when I saw him come and speak, I have no dog in this fight other than being somebody who loves Alton. I believe in the progress of Alton, and I believe that this is the right move.
Yes.
My name is Bill Stottenborough. I didn't come here tonight to speak for or against the application for a special use permit. But at the last planning commission meeting, one businessman stood up and said, if it's good for one, it's good for all. It finally soaked into me a couple days later what the guy meant. An amendment was passed limiting one to one type of business. Council voted to create a monopoly. And there are several laws against creating a monopoly. It'd be easy for someone to break it. So for this or any future applications for changing of zoning, whether it be C4, which this one pertains to, or any other. Well, let's take C4. If a business come along and they wanted to have a used car lot in downtown Alton, would you say, well, we'll allow one? There are different things like that. So I think that the council ought to back up and look at that amendment and remove it. If it's good for one, it's good for all. If someone else come in and wanted a tattoo parlor, they very easily can do it because the monopolistic situation makes it very favorable for them to say, we want it. So I'm speaking neither for it nor against it, for future reference, and for this. I don't think we should be limiting any type of business to one particular business. Create a monopoly. I don't know what to do. I don't even know in terms of tonight. One possibility would be to table the motion to get that eliminated from the motion to change C4 for this business or any other business in the future. Don't create monopolies. That's all I have to say. I've talked to my alderman about it. I don't know whether you've talked to council as to the impact of creating a monopoly. I think it ought to be researched because it could create some lawsuit problems in the future. Thank you.
Sarah Gordon? Sarah Gordon?
I had originally come, hi, thanks for letting me speak. I had originally come planning to speak on behalf of Alton Main Street, which is clearly unnecessary at this point. But while I do have the podium, I'm going to offer my support also for the tattoo shop downtown. It is strongly known on the mainstream. It is considered art. That is to be our art district. And something we might want to ask is, do we want it to be an inclusive or an exclusive district? Do we want people to worry about trying to bring their business there and having to go through forums like this to get approval, or the things that I've heard come up for objections I think would be applicable to almost any business moving into that district. I just want to say, yeah, I also support it. Tattoos are worn by people in all walks of life now. It's not a prison associated thing by any means anymore. This is a growing and thriving business. Piasa is already established, so they are going to be successful there. And almost at this point, anything art related in that district is better than an empty storefront.
BJ Beck.
BJ Becker, Mayor Walker, City Council members, and ladies and gentlemen. We all have a proud heart for Mr. Hinkle pursuing his talent as an artist, creating a successful business, and achieving the American dream. I am in favor of Mr. Hinkle bringing his shop to Broadway later. Mayor Walker, City Council members, all of you, regardless of any personal problems, political responsibility, all of you are in it, deep in it, knee-deep in it, daily. You are all walking in it. You are all walking in history, Alton's history. We need all of you to hold a fiduciary responsibility for the legacy Alton's ancestors left to you. Broadway's current hunger for business must be sad for Alton's ancestors. Years ago, Maimonides taught, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you will feed him for a lifetime. Today, Broadway is starving and needs feeding with foot traffic, multiple new businesses, and new places of employment. Giving Broadway a shot in the arm, unintended, as a quick fix for foot traffic will not feed Broadway for a lifetime. Unfortunately, currently, Mr. Kinko's business will show an uncomfortable image for some people. We must anchor Broadway in a comfortable, unified image and vision. We must anchor Broadway in an image that is comfortable for prospective business tenants, comfortable for tourists, comfortable for all families living in or considering relocating to Broadway, to Alton. What is the comfortable image and vision you want Broadway to show? Determine the market you wish to capture. Personally, I would like shops to bring children to after they have visited our wonderful museum at the dam. I'd like a toy shop, popcorn business, boutiques, open air, breakfast bistro, and places for cyclists to refresh, quench their thirst, and park their bikes. And I'd like art galleries. Perhaps you want to attract young adults. How about some technology businesses? What is your comfortable, unified vision for Broadway's future? Currently, as Mr. Hinkle's lovely wife stated in the Advantage News, the type of artwork Mr. Hinkle specializes in still has some type of stigma. Do not let that stigma shout out at the corner of Broadway and Henry. Mayor Walker and council members, you do not have the time, nor is it your responsibility to do a full-out public relations campaign to overcome prejudice, stereotypes, or negative perceptions about tattoos. Currently, we need shops that are comfortable for all. Allow Mr. Hinkle to relocate to Broadway after other shops have opened. To that end, the stigma Mr. Hinkle's wife referred to will diminish as Mr. Hinkle becomes one of many interesting shops on Broadway. Provide a comfortable image that will protect a long-term, profitable future for Broadway.
One more minute.
I pray that in the deep of the night, you will not hear Alton's ancestors weep because you voted for a quick fix over a comfortable, for all, long-term, profitable solution. What legacy will each of you leave for Alton's future? I thank you.
Open more shops. Open more shops. Open more shops.
Mayor, Council, my name is Steve Richards. I'll be brief. I came to the Alton area in 1989 as the assistant manager of the Social Security Office in Federal Building. Still one of the nicest looking buildings in town. And I've been amazed in that, when I was a young man, it's been 25 years, the development has not been more profound in this beautiful area. I moved away in 07, took a job in Ohio, promotion, retired, came back. Beautiful area, families here, live up across from Alton High School now, although I guess I'm in Godfrey. I'm only here to say I've been following this, and it's a planning commission meeting, and somebody mentioned that if you welcome Mr. Hinkle's shop, you'll be welcoming peep shows and strip clubs. So I immediately went to the tattoo place. I've never been there. I get a pizza hut and go to the tattoo shop. I'll tell you, I'm sure you've been in there, I imagine many of you, but it's a very upscale, posh, kind of, remind me of a high-end beauty salon, quite frankly. That's where I get my locks done. So, all I tell you is I'm in support of it. I think it'd be foolish not to do it. I'd like to see we do it. So that's all.
Comment first. I think we are, I know we are, a nation, a state, and a city of laws. And we can help make the laws, and we can change the laws. Because right now, the zoning laws say that is not allowed with a C4. It's a C2. And one brought up a very good suggestion that maybe this is a monopoly, which is against the law, more or less. And I think we need to do more research before we make a decision. And I'd like to move for label.
No. We have a motion to be laid over by Alderman Moser, the second, I believe, Alderman Bell.
I want to make a comment. I think we lost our focus, like Mr. Bowles has said. It's all about the zoning issue. I have nothing against tattoo parlors. Matter of fact, he's located in my ward, but that's fine. But this is the zoning issue. And that's what I think you have to base it on. If you could find those places on Broadway, that'd be great, or just anywhere where it's zoned for that particular business. So I can't support it, but I have nothing against tattoos.
I would also like to make a comment. The planning commission tied on this. So, it's not exactly a ringing endorsement against this. Even though it came up with even if it came out with a negative vote. Also, I am embarrassed by the number of hoops we have made Mr. Hinkle jump through. In Alton to another place in Alton. Come on. This is ridiculous. Now we're going to do this again?
Right.
And nobody's going to research anything. Right.
Well, obviously, you're in favor of breaking the laws because we've set down the
I don't
laws.
believe the monopoly business. That doesn't make any sense to me. And what we're doing is perfectly legal. Yeah. There's nothing illegal.
Because my personal belief is that it's probably not setting up a monopoly within the city, but it does probably set up potentially for future lawsuits if somebody else in that wanted to set up a tattoo parlor within the C4, that they would be able to sue the city because you allowed it for one. And I agree with Mr. Stottenberg.
Mr. Stottenberg called me on that, I think more than a week ago, and again recently. My answer to his question was, it is a possibility. The monopoly issue, the limit to one in a C4 district was nothing that came from our planning commission or the city zoning administrator office. It was something that was introduced on the floor of the council. It is therefore a legislative decision. My role as the corporation counselor is to defend the city. Should we be sued, I will do my best to defend. Speculating as to the likelihood of being sued, speculating as to the eventual outcome of that, I'm not prepared to do. If the only issue, if anyone feels that they'd like to reverse themselves on the question of establishing only one potential special use in a C4, that certainly could be an amendment when the time is right. If you don't wish to amend it and take that out, I will defend it if challenged.
Can we ask a question?
Will you please call the roll?
First time
I'm sorry.
It's the first time I opened.
I have usually ruled when it comes out of a committee, it is not the first time. Yes, sir.
Charlie?
Yeah, I have something to say before we call. You know, we've been laboring over this thing for weeks and weeks and weeks. We're dragging this young man through the mud for little insignificant things that we're trying to find to keep him from bettering his business. He found a building that he thought would be appropriate to expand and improve his building. Apparently the young man has got some business acumen because he found a business building that has the capability of apartments above the building to help him with a loan that he has gotten okayed on his own. Hasn't come to the city for a dime that I know of. And he's found a building that not only is a good location for his business, but it's a wise decision in that he has people to help him pay the mortgage. The young man's looking ahead. We had speakers here tonight. The first statement was when he got up that I'm here for the betterment of the business. It's an economic thing. It's absolutely nothing to do with tattoo parlors. And then later on gave us a 12-page rhetoric about who gives them and what military rules are, and it's nonsense. It's pure nonsense. And to lay this thing over is nothing but a cheap politic trick to keep dragging this man through the mud. I think we ought to vote on it tonight and have it over with.
Yes. Well said.
Will you please call the roll on the way?
I have a question on this. I was curious how many properties he investigated in a C2 district before coming upon the one in C4. Did you expend all the other buildings or possibilities that are property zoned before coming to C4?
The buildings I researched was the Wedge Bank, the World Fair Building, what's Wild Track Bikes now.
I think those are all C4 though.
Wild Track Bikes is not C4.
Oh, so
No.
maybe that's sorry, I didn't know that.
And
And then all the other buildings that I called in about had issues like all of the plumbing in the building has been ripped out, or all the electrical in the building has been ripped out, or there's structural damage to the building to the point of me not being able to put $500,000 into a building before I've even bought it to put a business in it to make it happen. So that's the roadblocks that I was running into as I was looking at buildings in Alton, because a majority of the ones that are vacant are not climate controlled. That means outside air is inside. And that means all the plaster and everything falls down in the buildings. And it only takes a few years for the buildings to go not climate controlled for that to happen. So then the next step was to find a place
that has been occupied so that there had been climate control within the building, so that it's structurally sound, so that I can move my building in. So that narrows the field. So that's where I'm at with it, and that's why I chose this building. It has all the amenities that I need to make what I have work.
On the way over, did you say there?
Yeah, on the way over.
McAfee?
No.
Kellogg?
Aye.
Martin?
No.
Gray?
No.
Fleming? Folds? 2 ayes, 5 nays, 1 absent.
Motion by Alderman Jones, second by Alderman Mays.
This is with the restrictions in place.
Sorry, I'm going to call the roll to accept the resolution in a C4 district to allow one tattoo parlor. That's what it's all roll.
So this is just for the tattoo parlor for the zoning district. That's what it is.
Yes, Mr. Hinkle's request, the resolution to this request, the Boy Scout tattoo shop and art supply stores to remain the C4 district of Delaware.
This is for the special use for that.
Correct.
Yes.
So then, this also includes the 11 restrictions.
The 11.
The 11 things that the planning commission.
Oh, yeah. You should have a copy of the ordinance attached to the resolution, I believe.
Well, I had a couple of questions on the restrictions on that property, I guess. The, item 2 says the exterior of the building shall appear the same as proposed in Exhibit C revised. But then 6 says the exterior of the building shall be the color of the brick below the existing paint. And then it goes on and says remove the existing paint, damage is brick, remove the I thought when he first came before us, he showed a rendering of what that building's gonna look like. And he basically sold you guys on, he's gonna make all these improvements to the exterior. Yet, it doesn't really spell out what he's gonna do. If somebody's gonna remove the paint from a brick building, you would think that they would know what they can do to that brick and not damage it, how much of that's gonna cost. You also would think that he's gonna ask for a special use permit, and he's gonna do these improvements to the exterior of the building, that you place a timeline on that. And if he doesn't perform that task within that timeline, he pulls the permit, he loses the permit. So, I'd like some sort of description of what exactly he's gonna do to the exterior of the building, or what he's proposing to do to the exterior of the building, added to this with the time frame of when it's gonna be performed.
Mr. Belloff, I'll try to share some information. That did get considerably discussed in the Planning Commission meeting. Mr. Hinkle expressed that his desire is to remove the paint, perhaps do some tuck pointing, and have an exposed brick building. He also expressed concern that the paint has been there a long time. There might have been alterations, perhaps bricks were replaced and maybe covered up an old window. He fears that when he gets into removing the paint, the brick might not look uniform, and in that case, he wanted the freedom to go to what he described as an earth tone paint. The Plan Commission, Bill, you were there, I think we spent like a half an hour on that issue.
He asked for red paint and he changed it to an earth tone.
Right. So, but your other point of, is there a deadline for getting this all accomplished? I'm going to turn to Mr. Osselmeyer, who handled a lot of that. Mr. Osselmeyer, would it be your opinion that he would be permitted to open for business before completing these things?
Yeah, technically, I mean, he would have to follow the special use permit. So if the special use permit is conditioned that he has to meet certain criteria, then he would not be able to open until he meets that criteria.
I don't have a problem opening before the items are done, but if you're gonna say that you're gonna remove the paint and you're gonna tuck point the building, you're gonna do, replace whatever openings are in the building that were now just covered up with plywood, that's one thing. if you can get that done, give them a time frame of something like a year, but not just, yeah, we expect you to do that, that can perpetuate forever.
And certainly it is still open for amendment. The restrictions, as you can see, we spent a lot of, I listened, in the Plan Commission, spent a lot of time trying to flesh out the restrictions. If you want to add a restriction, I would think in all fairness, ask the applicant if whatever you choose to propose is acceptable to him. I think that's a reasonable course for moving tonight if you wish.
I said also in that plan commission where these things were discussed, the plan commission came up with 10 bullet points of things that they wanted to see done. Some of the things that Mr. Hinkle had requested were denied, and he agreed that he would take those out. And they changed each one of those points, and they voted unanimously, 10 out of 10 votes on every one of those 10 points that they were satisfied. So now then we want to start picking and choosing. We've got a building here in town that's been under renovation for 3 years. It's not finished yet.
Falling down everywhere.
Yeah, some water.
Yeah, I propose an amendment then to the restriction of that, it's, say 1 year, then he's got the opportunity to come back and ask for an extension.
I have no issues with that.
So for the convenience of our clerk, I'll take a stab at that. How about if we add on number 11, all improvements are to be completed within 1 year. Exterior. And that would be number 11, and we'll make number 11 number 12, if that's your amendment. So moved.
Option for extension.
You always have an option.
One second, there was a motion by Alderman Bella as an amendment for exterior improvements to be done in a 12-month time frame, second by Alderman Walls. Mr. Mayor. Alderman Wright.
It looks to me like that we're trying to approach another incident that was brought up a moment ago about discrimination because of a single shop being allotted in the district. Now then, we're wanting this guy for no different reasons to do everything he needs to do in a year, and we still have the building I just spoke of. That there was no limit. This man hadn't asked us for a stinking penny. We've got, I don't know how many thousands of dollars invested in the one that's sitting there for 3 years. That's not pure discrimination. I don't know what the hell it is.
No.
Fleming? No. Bowles? 2 ayes, 5 nays, 1 absent.
Please follow along with the adoption of the resolution.
Ryan?
Aye.
McAfee? Aye. Kellogg?
No.
Martin? Aye. Gray?
Aye.
Fleming?
No.
Bowles? No. 4 ayes, 3 nays, 1 absent. Mayor Walker?
Aye.
5 ayes, 3 nays, 1 absent.
Motion passed.
Item 14 is approval of actions taken under suspension of rules of prior meeting. Without objection, I'll entertain a motion to approve item A, B, and C. Motion by Alderman Bryant, second by Alderman Mackey, and clerk will please call the roll.
Rock star.
What's up? You're doing your job. Coming up? I am. I'm just tripping over stuff. James. We're gonna close the door.
Yes, I have to you this evening, Mr. Mayor. Resolution whereas the City Council of the City of Alton, Illinois determines that it's appropriate to amend the taxing code with regard to furnishing the natural gas in the City of Alton. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Alton, Illinois, that the attached ordinance be considered. Resolution whereas it is necessary to effect demolition of certain structure deemed unsafe under 65 ILCS 5/11-31-1, the owners of which have neglected or refuses to perform required demolition. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Alton, Illinois, that the officials and agents are hereby authorized to pursue appropriate legal action against such properties in circuit court as listed below. 2616 Clausen. And I refer both of these resolutions to the committee of the whole.
Motion by Alderman Gray, second by Alderman Martin, so ordered.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman Gray. Alderman Fleming?
You won't believe this, but I have an application for a zoning amendment and special use permit. I hope it goes a lot better than this last one. This is from Rick Blevins of Templar Brewery and Joel Elliott to operate a microbrewery at 1320 Mills Road. And I would move that it be referred to the planning.
Motion by Alderman Fleming, second by Alderman Ball, so ordered. That's all I have. Alderman Ball?
City of Alton holds the Lucy Haskell Playhouse Committee Fund. Whereas the Lucy Haskell Playhouse Committee on June 9th meeting recommended approval of payment to Rick Trudell for $298 for property work. Future Master, painting wallpaper amount of $1,091.13 for painting and plumbing. Outfit for $99.99 and matching print backplates. And for $61.30 for temporary downspout materials. Now therefore be resolved, City Council, City of Alton, Illinois, the Secretary of the hereby authorized to make payments for Lucy Haskell Playhouse Committee, Rick Trudell, Bushel Painting, wallpaper and painting, Peter Hopkins, and Doug Baker.
fire chief has determined that one 2007 Schmiel Spartan current ladder truck and equipment is owned by the city hall is no longer necessary. Whereas the fire chief advertised said equipment with Brunel mountain fire apparatus. Whereas the city of Cushing, Oklahoma has made an offer of $400,000. Now therefore be resolved, City Council, City of Oklahoma, the fire chief is hereby authorized to enter into agreement with the city of Cushing, Oklahoma for sale of one Schmiel Spartan twin ladder for $400,000 payable to the City of Alton. Be further resolved that net funds procured in the sale of the aforesaid ladder trucks shall be available to be used to supplement the firefighting fleet in the City of Alton. Specifically, items be approved by the City Council. Whereas the city entered into a lease agreement with STO LLC regarding the Spencer T. Olin Golf Course, where the city holds the Spencer T. Olin Golf Course Trust Fund to pay certain expenses. Whereas STO LLC has submitted invoices to Joint Construction for $10,200 and Jerseyville Winston Company for $5,547. Whereas STO LLC has paid the invoices and is requesting reimbursement, now therefore be resolved, the City Council, City of Alton, Illinois, the City Treasurer authorized to reimburse STO LLC for the payment amount of $15,360. The Spencer T. Olin Trust Fund reimbursement will be less than the reimbursement amount and will be based on the funds available at the time of this resolution to be given to CMB Trust Bank Department in processing. Now this withdrawal will be final withdrawal from the Spencer T. Olin held trust fund held by CNA Bank Trust Company. Upon completion of this withdrawal, Spencer T. Olin Trust Fund will be closed. Whereas the main water line owned and maintained by American Water Line Water Company in the area of Broadway and Piasa has failed and caused significant undermining. Whereas American Water has agreed to pay the cost of repairs. Whereas we determined there was additional sanitary sewer problems under Broadway and Market and Audi. Whereas the crews are now on site at the American Water restoring Broadway Piasa Market, and whereas the damage underneath Broadway and Market Street and Audi have been discovered and represent an extensive danger to health and safety of the personnel using Broadway. Whereas it appears economically advantageous to use the contractors hired by American Water to fix the portion of Broadway and Market Street. Now therefore be resolved, City Council, City of Alton, that Public Works Director is here to authorize the Director to do the following. To pay Woodman Inc. for the milling and removal of the tapered asphalt and the crosswalks on the north side of Broadway and Market with an estimated cost of $2,800. You can contract with Kane Mechanical already on the site Royal Mountain Young Water to move forward with the replacement of the sanitary sewer line over Broadway between Alton and Market Street with the city of Alton Creek performing surface restoration. Any questions on those four? I move for suspension on the floor.
Motion by Alderman Ball, second by Alderwoman Mark to suspend the rules. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on the suspension?
Ryan? McAfee? Miller? Martin? Gregg? Fleming? Schultz? Mayor Walker? 8 ayes, no nays, no abstentions.
Move for adoption on those four.
Motion by Alderman Ball, second by Alderman Belloff. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Ryan? McAfee? Miller? Martin? Gregg? Fleming? Schultz? 7 ayes, no nays, no abstentions.
Move to go into executive session, discuss collective bargaining negotiations with the Teamsters, request of Personnel Director, Public Works Director, Appropriation Director, City Treasurer, City Comptroller, and Corporate Counsel be present.
You need a second?
Yes.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Ball, second by Alderman Martin. Executive session.
Ryan? McAfee? Miller? Martin? Gregg? Fleming? Schultz? 7 ayes, no nays, no
You came late.
No, I've been here the whole time. Yep, the whole time.
These are not good to stand around.
No, they're not. My back.
Not surprised. Yeah. Huh? I'm not surprised. I'm not either, but don't they want it settled?